Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining us. I'm Jen with Boris Walks Alone Art Inc., where we're passionate about supporting artists and sharing their work with audiences around the world through both physical and digital exhibitions. Today, I'm really excited to be joined by artist Trish, whose work explores powerful themes through bold, narrative-driven imagery and anthropomorphic characters. Trish, thanks so much for being here. Let's start by having you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your work.
Okay, sure. Just wanted to say thanks so much for having me. Little disclaimer, I'm a little sick, so don't mind
Kleenex in
my
hand.
tissue.
All good.
My name is Trish Malhotra, and I am Canadian. I live in Toronto with my husband and my kids and my little Frenchie Elle Woods.
Awesome. And I think you said at the beginning of this, your Frenchie may be joining us at
Yeah,
some
she
point in
keeps
the
coming and
conversation.
going. She will see how much attention she wants. So she just went to her bed. So we'll see what
Oh,
we'll see what
nice. Okay. But she may come out throughout this interview and like,
it
come
is
on.
highly likely.
Excellent. Well, that's okay. You can throw her up on the screen for everybody to meet her. So,
Okay,
um,
great.
so a few questions just to get us started about your art. How would you describe your style to someone who's never seen your work before?
So I predominantly do anthropomorphic art, which means I splice together animals and humans. Almost always animal heads and human bodies. I'm a digital artist. I work in Photoshop. I don't use AI, and I also sculpt. So I do mixed media pieces where I'll take a digital piece that I did, and then I'll incorporate sculpture onto the frame.
Well, that sounds really cool. When you create these characters, what draws you to animals as a way to tell human stories? And how do you go about that?
Yeah, that's a great question. First of all, I think I love animals.
Okay.
So I think I've always kind of been into splicing things. Like since I was a kid, I just found humor in it. It's also a way for me to kind of touch on things in the world that I find kind of absurd, or I mean, I want to tell a story about a social issue. I find it a lot easier to do when it's non-human.
Ah, that makes
So for
sense.
me, I'm able to tell a more concise story when
Yeah.
things get a little weird and wacky.
Yeah, that's really cool. So I know you have a piece of art in a couple businesses. Tell us a bit about the business and how you went about like picking that piece of art and putting those things together for the business.
Sure. Um, yeah, a couple that I did that I just found to be so fun were there is a hair salon that used to be in my neighborhood from my old house, and I really got to know these guys. He still does my hair to this day. But they're just really, really cool guys. And, we kind of got to talking, and I was telling them what I did, and, kind of one thing led to another. And I got this idea, and I said, well, what if for your studio, I get a picture of each of you, and I turn you into animals, and let's see where it goes.
Yeah.
So they sent me pictures, and I turned one into a tiger and one into a giraffe, and it was so fun and so funny. And then I delivered the pieces of art to them. I finished them in resin, put them in antique frames. Yeah, so they worked out really, really well. I was very happy with them. So they're on display at the studio. Um, I've got a piece in a cheese shop where I have a cow, a goat, a goat, and a sheep, I believe.
Okay.
So they're like three cute little girls who produce cheese.
That's
Um,
great.
it's just like I made it really, really pretty and kind of relatable, and so it's up in the cheese shop. So I'm always kind of like trying to figure out ways that I can use my work commercially, just because I think it's such a good opportunity to stand out and make things look different, right? Like, for instance, I always envisioned my like a big barista animal at a coffee shop, you know, behind the barista. Um, but really, it could go anywhere. And I just think there's such good conversation pieces,
They are
right? Like,
really are they completely are. So that leads us to the next question. Which comes first, the pictures and putting them together or the story?
it's always different.
It's
So,
always different.
for
Interesting.
instance, I just did a piece called Boom Duck Boom,
Uh-huh.
which it was inspired by one of my favorite movies called Do the Right Thing by Spike Lee. And I had, like, it's been kind of percolating for a long time. I like to pay tribute to things that I love.
Yep.
And so I was looking through photos and I found one that I was like, bingo, you know, that would be perfect for the one that I've been wanting to do for a long time. And it morphs a lot. Like, I mean, you know, oftentimes I just will be looking through photos and I'll see one that is just has something about it, whether it starts with the animal's face
Yep.
or it starts with a position in the photo. Something always has to speak to me, you know, and if it doesn't grab me once I kind of put the two together, if it doesn't grab me immediately,
Yep.
it's gone.
Oh, interesting. So
Yeah,
you kind of know right away. It's
I
kind of
know
like
right away.
the photographer's eye. They kind of
So
know
I know
right
right
away,
away. Yep. Yeah.
which is
I'm
really
like, you know,
interesting.
maybe it's too boring, or maybe like, you know, it's going to be a little bit too difficult for me to convey the point I'm trying to make, because
Yeah.
oftentimes it's pretty subtle,
Yeah.
you know, and not everybody gets it, which is totally cool. Nobody's in my brain. So, but I'm, you know, then I'll just kind of toss that one and keep going. So it's a process for sure.
Excellent. Well, your latest piece called The Hacker was in Balanced Forces exhibition in Austin, Texas. And tell us more about that piece. Personally, I like, as soon as I saw it, I'm like, holy, I love this. Right. So tell us more about that piece.
Yeah, well, you know, first of all, I'm obsessed with hairless cats.
Oh, that's
Being
awesome.
able to put being able to put the head of a hairless cat on anything is super satisfying. They're
Yeah.
so weird and they're really alien-like. So I'm like pretty fascinated with them. And they always make for a cool piece of art. So this one was it depicts a picture, just to kind of explain to everybody a little bit of what it's about. It's a woman in kind of a super big oversized suit.
Yeah.
And I have her sitting on top of a retro computer
Yes.
from like the 80s. And I kind of I was really like challenging kind of technology and kind of corporate life and how much they now kind of technology shapes the way we think and the way we portray ourselves. So, you know, it was such an incredibly fun piece for me to do. And, you know, it was nostalgic for me.
Yes.
So I think any time that I can kind of bring nostalgia into a piece, it it speaks to me a lot more. I complete love of and obsession with antiques. So I mean, you know, I'm trying to kind of challenge. It's like a little bit of a kind of a thought piece between kind of system and self, right? Like,
Yeah.
so it was that piece to me, I absolutely loved, and I was so thrilled that I got chosen for that show.
Yes, and we got to thank the Balance Forces team and the team at Ellis. So that brings me to
Absolutely.
the next question: is augmented reality? We were participating in this show using augmented reality, which for people out there that don't know what that is, it's basically we take her work, Trish's work, and we put it virtually in a space. So we don't physically have to be there. Other people may be in Austin, Texas, and we be maybe lucky enough to go out there and to really take a view of it. But it's basically putting your piece of artwork virtually into a space, whether it be inside a building or outside along the street. And you'll be able to see it if you had Google glasses or Facebook glasses, or through your cell phone, which we all carry that, and be able to record it. What do you think of that?
Wild. It's so wild. Yeah, it was, I was felt beyond thankful to be included in that. Like what a blast. To see what they can do with augmented reality is insane. You know, my piece was larger than life. I didn't have to go. It makes my work kind of accessible to so many people, I think, who would never see my work, right? Like,
Exactly.
it's the world is a big place. And
Yes.
so what an opportunity and what a way to be able to kind of get your work across the world without having to go. I think it was a really, really great opportunity for sure.
I think it was pretty cool too, actually. And before I met you, I was working for another artist too as well, who actually had shipped his work down to a gallery in Miami, and they lost the work, which is like super unfortunate because, I mean, you guys spend so much time on the piece of
Oh
artwork.
yeah.
Like, if we
It
talk
becomes
about your
priceless to us, right? Like
yes. Well,
it's
yes. I mean, it's your
irreplaceable.
work. It's your work,
Yeah,
right? That is your work, right?
of course.
And
Yep.
so this gets rid of some of that, pain point for artists is, having to ship their work somewhere, having to physically be there. It's just a new way to showcase your work. I believe in it a
Like kind
thousand
of like
percent.
Pokemon Go, right? Really is kind
Exactly.
of what it is for art, which if, people don't really understand what you're talking about, in a sense, that's exactly what it is. I mean, it's
Exactly.
Pokemon Go for art, right? Like
Exactly.
it is, it's very cool. Yeah.
Exactly. I love it. Well, is there anything else that you would like to tell somebody, like maybe even a younger artist that's just starting out on this and thinking, hey, wait, I love what she does. I want to like do that as a business. And how do I go about that? Tell me something that you would say to somebody younger that said that to you.
Like I would say, just push forward. You just gotta keep on, set your eye on the prize, and there's peaks and there's valleys, and if you really truly love it and it feeds you like it feeds me. I mean, I wake up every single day of my life. I think about art. I go to sleep thinking about art. It's all I think about. So, I think if you are that person, then don't let people say, don't pursue it, don't do it.
Yeah.
You've got to do what you love. I mean, it doesn't always necessarily mean that, you have to be an artist that's making millions of dollars because,
Right.
for me, I mean, I'm being paid in fulfillment. I really love what I do.
Yeah.
And it's all I want to do.
And you can tell from your work. You can
Yeah, like
totally
it's
tell
just
from your
so
work.
fun. So I would say, just don't give up. It's challenging. Of course, like it's a really hard business,
Yep.
but so worth it if you do what you love.
And you know what I love? And I've loved this from the very beginning. I've been, working with artists for 17 years. I love this story. That is my favorite part of everything is the
Yeah.
story. Why, and your what is it? And I love listening to all that stuff. And
Yeah.
just it's great because being a creative myself, I get that it speaks to you. It just
Yeah.
speaks
Yeah.
to you. So,
Well,
well,
and I feel like almost it's not a choice.
yeah.
You know, it's like I feel like it has to come out of me. Like it's
Yes.
what feeds me. And how lucky am I to be able to do it and to, fiddle around in Photoshop all day and like one thing I should mention also with my work, that it is digital. I do it in Photoshop and I don't use AI. I mean, there's a lot of kind of questioning behind like whether I do or whether I don't. I
Yep.
don't use it. Um, I just, I don't know if you want to know about this, but just I take a series. of photos, and I take tiny elements out of lots of different photos to create a new background and character.
Yeah.
Just yeah, so it's time consuming. Some
Yep.
pieces might take me days.
Yep.
So if I'm really into it and things are really getting going, it might take me, I'll be sitting there the full day. Um, but yeah, it's just like a little bit of my process. So
I love it. I love
yeah,
it. And when I was looking at your file, I can confirm that there's like 67 layers, right?
yeah,
There's a
it's a
lot
lot
of
of like
layers, right?
for sure.
It's
Yeah,
so
there's a lot
cool.
of, I probably had ones that have over 100 layers.
Exactly. So that's really
Yeah,
cool. And that is not using AI for sure.
definitely not.
Yeah.
And anybody who tries to look at my files, and you would know this, can
Yes,
get a
I
little
do. It certainly does. It certainly does. But it makes something super amazing. So I
yeah.
love it. Well,
Thank you.
Trish, thank you so much for sharing your work, your process, and the perspective you had with us today. It's been a real pleasure learning more about the meaning behind your art. So at Boris Walks Alone Art Inc., we're incredibly excited about the opportunity to work together and to help bring your work to a new audience through inventive exhibition platforms. For everyone
Mhm.
watching, be sure to follow Trish Malhotra's artwork, stay up to date with her latest releases and upcoming projects, because I know you have a lot coming up. Thank you
Yep.
again for joining us. Thank you for talking to me. And I really appreciate you taking the time to do this. I love working with you. I think this is amazing. I love to see your artwork every day. I look forward to it. So thank you, Trish, so much.
Thank you, Jen. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.